Hi, my name is Andy Malley and I'll be presenting Glimmer DSL for SWT tutorial number 5. So last time I went through layouts, which is a very fundamental topic in SWT. It's the way that lets you lay out widgets on the screen. Today I'm going to be talking about something completely different, which is hello file dialog. So dialogues can be brought up in various ways. One of the most common dialog is the file dialog. So let me launch this sample and then click Browse, and this brings up the file dialog. And this is just a native file dialog from the Mac system that shows up in SWT because SWT uses native widgets. So let's select a file like README, open, and there you go. It shows the file name over here that we selected. So let's break it down and look at the code. So basically we have a shell that has a grid layout. If you don't pass any arguments to the grid layout, it's only going to have one column. That's it. So everything is going to be laid out vertically in one column. So you can see we have a label that says selected files. We have another label that basically is showing the file content. And then finally, there's a button beneath them. So let's focus on file dialog though. If you look at the onWidget selected listener of the button, you'll notice that it's actually making a call to file dialog, the keyword, .open. What that is doing is basically constructing a file dialog and then opening it right away. And then this method actually is designed by SWT to be a blocking method, meaning when I click browse, it actually blocks. So nothing happens in the app. See, I cannot even click on it until you make a choice over here or cancel. And when I make a choice, it shows up as the selected file. This is basically by setting the selected file attribute. So as soon as open finishes, when you select a file or cancel, it gives you a string that is the file location, and it's storing it directly into the selected file attribute. Which is over here. So you can see we have an attribute accessor of selected file. It was pre-initialized to please select a file. And then as soon as you select a file, you update it and you see the file location over here. So if I were to close this and reopen it one more time, see how it says please select a file. So that is what happens over here in the before body block. Before body will run before the construction of the body of the GUI. And it helps you set up a few variables. So think of it as a sort of a constructor, except it's a GUI view constructor, and it helps you set up a bunch of variables and then use them in the GUI. And basically, then we browse and then select readme.md, open, you can see the file location over here. One more thing that I did not cover yet is data binding. We have a slight use of data binding over here. So here, this arrow that is going from the right to the left is a single unidirectional data binding arrow. What it's saying is basically this label, the text of it, will receive updates to the selected file attribute on self. So that's why here, when we actually updated self.selectedFile to the value that we got back from the dialog, the label automatically reflected the change. So this is in a way a preview of what data binding is. I did not cover it yet. I will cover it in a future tutorial. But this is the most rudimentary version of it. It's unidirectional data binding. Eventually I'll be covering bidirectional data binding as well. And that pretty much covers this tutorial for today. In order to learn more about the project, check out the Glimmer DSL for SWT GitHub project.